If Jupiter disappeared tomorrow, every planet would feel it. The orbits of Mars and Earth would wobble, asteroids would drift off course, Saturn's rings would twist out of shape. Even the fragile balance that keeps our solar system alive would begin to unravel. Because Jupiter isn't just another planet. It's the anchor of everything. It is the king of worlds, a giant so massive it could swallow every other planet and still have room to spare. In its heart lies more than 2.5 times the mass of all other planets combined. It bends space around it, commands comets, sculpts orbits, and protects Earth from destruction. And yet, it also almost destroyed us. 4.5 billion years ago, the early solar system was chaos. A newborn sun surrounded by a swirling disk of dust and gas, forming planets in the heat and turbulence of creation. Inside that storm, Jupiter was the first to take shape. It grew fast, too fast, sucking in the gas around it like a cosmic vacuum, devouring everything in reach. It became so massive that it began to resemble something else entirely, a failed star. If it had been only 80 times heavier, its gravity would have ignited nuclear fusion, turning it into a small sun. The night sky would have glowed with twin stars, Earth orbiting between two blazing fires. But fate stopped it short. Jupiter never crossed that line. Its core compressed, heated, strained, but never ignited. And in that failure, the solar system found balance. Jupiter became not a star, but a guardian. Its gravity stabilized the inner planets, clearing debris, redirecting deadly asteroids that might have wiped Earth clean before life began. Time and again, Jupiter has taken the hits for us, a cosmic shield standing between our fragile world and oblivion. And yet, that same gravity that protects us also threatens us. For every comet Jupiter captures, there is another it sends hurtling inward, sometimes straight toward the inner planets. It is both protector and executioner, the most benevolent monster in the sky. No other world holds such power, and no other world hides so many secrets. From a distance, Jupiter seems serene, a striped marble of gold, cream, and rust, its clouds swirling in slow, hypnotic motion. But up close, it becomes something else entirely. A realm of endless storms, chaotic winds, and unimaginable pressure. Its atmosphere is not air, but an ocean of gas and lightning that never ends. A storm wrapped around a storm, spinning for eternity. Astronomers once thought Jupiter was a world of pure gas, a giant ball with no surface at all. But the more we look, the stranger it becomes. Beneath those thick clouds lies not emptiness, but depth, layers upon layers of matter compressed by gravity into exotic forms that defy comprehension. The planet's visible bands, the bright zones and dark belts, are merely the skin of a beast. They're driven by winds that circle the planet at more than 600 kilometers per hour, forming vortices that can last centuries. The storms rise and fall like living things, feeding on heat from within. The Great Red Spot, a cyclone larger than Earth itself, has raged for at least 400 years. And below it, unseen, there may be other storms. Deeper, stronger, eternal. Even sunlight barely penetrates Jupiter's upper atmosphere. If you descended through its clouds, the light would dim, the pressure would rise, and the winds would scream. Ammonia and water would swirl around you, lightning crackling across the sky, bolts so powerful they could vaporize a city. Go deeper still, and you'd find layers of liquid hydrogen, heated to thousands of degrees, crushed until it behaves more like metal than gas. Somewhere far below, buried under unimaginable weight, there might be a core, a dense, fuzzy mixture of rock, ice, and metallic hydrogen, floating like a phantom in a sea of fire and pressure. But no probe has ever seen it, no camera has ever touched it. We don't even know if it truly exists, because Jupiter doesn't give up its secrets easily. Every mission that's approached it, Pioneer, Voyager, Galileo, Juno, has been changed by it. Its magnetic field can kill electronics. Its radiation belts can strip metal bare. Its gravity can bend a spacecraft's path like thread around a spinning whirlpool. It's not just a planet. It's a presence. A storm god still roaring from the dawn of time. And yet, for all its fury, Jupiter is strangely beautiful, a paradox of chaos and elegance. Its clouds rise in creamy plumes and swirl in fractal patterns. Its storms form spirals that look like art. Its poles are adorned with glowing ovals, aurorae that never fade, powered by a magnetic field stronger than any other in the solar system. From the perspective of deep space, Jupiter is a living sculpture, a planet that never sleeps, forever reshaping itself. Its storms are the rhythm of gravity turned visible, the breath of a world that almost became a star. And still, we've only seen the surface. Because beneath those mesmerizing clouds lies something deeper, something stranger. A hidden world of lightning and metallic seas where the laws of matter twist and the distinction between liquid and gas disappears. A realm so extreme that atoms themselves are forced to change. It's there, in that unseen depth, that the real Jupiter begins, a place where science meets mystery and where even our boldest models break down. We call it a planet. But Jupiter defies the word. It's too big, too dynamic, too alive to fit any simple definition. It is the solar system's first child, its greatest force, and perhaps its most dangerous secret. If the Sun is the heart of our solar system, then Jupiter is its pulse, steady, immense, and eternal. It governs everything around it. It built the solar system, and one day it may decide to change it again. Because beneath those endless clouds, the story isn't over. There are storms we've never seen, currents we can't measure, layers we can't even name. And somewhere, buried beneath it all, may lie the key to understanding not just Jupiter, but the very nature of planets themselves. Because what lies beneath those clouds is nothing like what we imagined. The deeper you go, the stranger it becomes. From far away, Jupiter's clouds look almost serene, a marble of swirling color, its bands of white, red, and gold flowing in hypnotic waves. But that beauty is a mask. Those colors are the surface of an ocean of chaos, the visible skin of a world that never stops moving. To the human eye, Jupiter seems painted in layers, pale zones and dark belts wrapping around it like ribbons. But those bands aren't just colors, they're winds. Each one is a jet stream, blowing at hundreds of kilometers per hour, some eastward, some westward, each colliding with the next in a perpetual planetary storm. Unlike Earth, where the winds flow above a solid ground, Jupiter has no surface, no sea, no rock, no boundary at all. The atmosphere is the planet. You could fall through those clouds for tens of thousands of kilometers and never hit anything solid, only denser and hotter gas, forever deepening into the unknown. If you started at the top, you'd first pass through the familiar clouds, the ones we see from space. These are made mostly of ammonia ice, forming white and yellow streaks in the planet's upper atmosphere. They shimmer like frozen waves, sculpted by the wind into plumes and spirals the size of continents. Below them, the air darkens. The temperature rises. The ammonia disappears, and a new layer begins. Ammonium hydrosulfide, a compound formed from sulfur and ammonia that paints Jupiter's middle clouds in shades of amber and rust. These are the dark belts, where the planet's true power begins to show. Go deeper still, and you reach the hidden realm of water vapor clouds. Here, the pressure is so intense that droplets of liquid water and ice crystals mix and collide, generating lightning that lights up the planet from within. The flashes are so large that they could stretch across an entire continent on Earth. Each layer bleeds into the next, the gases mixing in a never-ending churn. There are no borders, only gradients like colors blending in a storm. And within that motion, something extraordinary happens. These layers don't just move, they fight. The bright zones are regions of rising gas, lighter, colder material pushed upward from the depths. The darker belts are descending air, heavy and warm, sinking back toward the planet's heart. Between them, the boundaries twist and curl into giant vortices, storms within storms, eddies the size of Earth. From afar, they look like brush strokes of paint. Up close, they are chaos made visible. The living texture of an atmosphere that has been moving for billions of years without rest. Jupiter's winds are the fastest of any planet in the solar system, reaching over 600 kilometers per hour. They are powered not by sunlight, but by Jupiter's own internal heat, energy leaking out from deep within, driving convection currents that churn the atmosphere from below. In that sense, Jupiter is a planet turned inside out. Its weather doesn't come from above, it comes from within. And the deeper you descend, the stranger the world becomes. Temperatures rise, the air thickens. The pressure grows so immense that the gases begin to compress into something unfamiliar. Hydrogen and helium packed tighter than any laboratory on Earth could reproduce. The clouds fade into mist. The mist becomes liquid. The liquid begins to glow. Down here, there is no up or down. No light, no sky, no color. Only endless pressure and endless motion. If you fell into Jupiter, you'd never hit the ground. You'd fall through layers that grow hotter and darker until the weight of the atmosphere crushed you into vapor. There is no floor waiting at the bottom. There is no bottom at all, just an ever-thickening storm, a descent into density until matter itself begins to change. And yet, from space, all of that chaos looks impossibly beautiful. The bands shift and ripple like a living canvas, golden zones flowing into ochre belts, white ovals spinning like pearls in the dark. The planet's rotation, once every 10 hours, stretches these storms into ribbons that wrap around the entire globe. If you could speed up time, Jupiter would look like a boiling ocean, its currents weaving endlessly into new forms. But what gives those clouds their color? Scientists still don't fully know. Some say it's simple chemistry, traces of phosphorus, sulfur, and hydrocarbons reacting in the sunlight. Others think it's deeper, that the colors come from processes hidden far below, from materials dredged up from the depths of the planet itself. Whatever the answer, Jupiter's palette is not painted by light alone. It's painted by pressure, by layers pressing upon layers, until molecules twist into strange forms. It is a masterpiece of motion, but also a mystery of matter, because no one knows how far the atmosphere truly goes. At what point does it stop being air and start becoming liquid? Where does the atmosphere end and the planet begin? No one can say for sure. Even our best instruments, even NASA's Juno spacecraft, can only skim the edges, tracing gravity and magnetism to infer what lies below. It's like studying the surface of an ocean when you have no idea how deep it runs. And beneath that ocean, the forces only grow stranger. Far below the clouds, hydrogen begins to behave like metal. It conducts electricity, it glows, it moves with the force of storms we can't imagine. The lightning that erupts from those depths could burn through the very air, bolts that would swallow Earth whole in their radiance. This is Jupiter's true nature, beauty layered upon terror, order emerging from chaos, an atmosphere without end, a storm without pause. Every layer hides another, every color conceals a new secret. And while we see only the topmost veil, the truth is buried far beneath, in a place where light cannot reach, and where the boundary between gas, liquid, and metal dissolves. The deeper you go, the stranger it becomes. Because Jupiter is not a sky, it is not a sea, it is a continuum, a gradient of physics pushed to its limits, a world where pressure becomes energy and storms become structure. We think of planets as places. Jupiter is not a place, it is a phenomenon. And those clouds, those infinite painted bands, are just the beginning. They are the surface of a secret that leads deeper into a realm of thunder, metal, and fire, a realm that may hold the key to how all giant planets are born. Because somewhere beneath those clouds, the gas becomes liquid, the liquid becomes metal, and the line between atmosphere and core disappears entirely. The storm does not end. It only changes form. And down there, far below where light can go, Jupiter's hidden heart begins to stir. It's older than any human civilization, and it's still alive. Before the pyramids, before writing, before history itself, it was already there. A vast crimson vortex swirling endlessly in the southern hemisphere of Jupiter, raging through the centuries as empires rose and fell on a tiny blue world far away. We call it the Great Red Spot. But that name barely contains it. It's not just a storm, it's a monument to motion, a masterpiece of violence, and the longest-lived weather event in the known universe. For more than 350 years, this colossal cyclone has been howling across Jupiter's skies, spinning counterclockwise in a swirl large enough to swallow Earth whole. Its winds reach 600 kilometers per hour, faster than a Category 5 hurricane, and yet the storm never moves, never stops, never rests. It's as if the planet itself has a heartbeat. And this is it. When early astronomers first pointed their primitive telescopes toward Jupiter in the 1600s, they saw something strange, a reddish oval marking the planet's cloud bands. It shifted and shimmered, but never vanished. Over time, as telescopes improved, the spot became clearer, a colossal ellipse, spinning faster than any storm on Earth. Centuries passed, and it was always there, the immortal eye in Jupiter's eternal storm. But even immortals change. In recent decades, spacecraft like Voyager and Juno have revealed a disturbing truth. The Great Red Spot is shrinking. What once stretched nearly 40,000 kilometers across, wide enough to fit 3 Earths, has now contracted to barely half that size. Its once deep crimson hue has faded into pale orange. Is it dying? Or is it evolving into something new? No one knows for sure. Inside the storm, the winds churn in layers, feeding on the planet's deep heat. Energy wells up from below, trapped by the fast-flowing jet streams that surround it. 2 colossal bands of wind moving in opposite directions. Those jet streams act like cosmic rails, locking the red spot in place, preventing it from drifting away. Unlike storms on Earth, which dissipate when they lose energy, Jupiter's storms are sustained by the planet's sheer scale and endless motion. The Great Red Spot has no ocean to drain into, no land to brake against, just infinite sky, infinite fuel. It is a storm that feeds on a storm. Every rotation, every turn, every roll of its crimson clouds is powered by the deep, convective energy of Jupiter itself, heat rising from the planet's core, mixing with cooler gases above. The result is a self-sustaining engine of fury that has been spinning longer than the human race has recorded time. But lately, its edges have grown more violent. Smaller vortices, some only a few hundred kilometers wide, have begun colliding with it, slicing its outer rims, injecting fresh energy, and tearing pieces away. It's as if the storm is being gnawed at by younger tempests, feeding and bleeding at the same time. Juno, orbiting Jupiter since 2016, has peered deep into the red spot using microwave and gravity sensors. What it found was astonishing. The storm extends 300 kilometers deep, far below the visible clouds. Its roots penetrate into layers where pressure crushes hydrogen into exotic states, and its core radiates heat like a furnace. The Great Red Spot isn't just a cloud pattern, it's a tower of energy, a column of rotating gas that dives into the planet's interior. It may be shrinking on the surface, but below it remains immense. Perhaps it isn't dying at all. Perhaps it's sinking, becoming part of Jupiter's deeper, hidden weather system, where storms go when they outlive eternity. From a distance, the red spot is hypnotic, a swirl of cream and scarlet framed by bands of gold and white. But up close, it's chaos made visible. Turbulence rages along its edges, waves of ammonia ice and sulfur clouds mixing in patterns that look almost alive. Each fold and curl is a record of motion, a signature of gravity's endless struggle with heat. If you could hover above it, you would see a churning world of energy, light and shadow dancing across its upper layers, lightning flickering deep within. The sound, if it could be heard, would be a constant roar, the sound of the planet breathing. Every storm on Earth is a whisper compared to this eternal scream. And yet, there's beauty in that scream. In the whirling chaos, in the unbroken motion, in the defiance of time itself. Because somehow, this storm, this colossal spiral of violence, has found a way to last. While Earth's tempests come and go in days, the Great Red Spot has endured for generations beyond count. It's not just weather, it's memory. A piece of the planet's history carved into the sky, a living relic of an age when Jupiter was still forming. It reminds us that nature's greatest forces aren't always gentle. Sometimes, beauty comes from chaos. Sometimes, creation is indistinguishable from destruction. The Great Red Spot is the face of that truth. A storm so immense it rewrites our understanding of time and motion. It shows us that permanence can exist even in turbulence, that eternity can be found inside the eye of a hurricane. But nothing lasts forever, not even storms that seem immortal. If the great red spot truly is fading, its death will not be an end, but a transformation. Its energy will bleed into the surrounding belts, seeding new storms, new patterns, new motion. The spirit of the red spot will continue, scattered across Jupiter's infinite clouds, an eternal echo of what once was. Because on Jupiter, nothing ever stops. The atmosphere is a machine that never sleeps. Every storm gives birth to another, every death creates a new beginning. The red spot may change, may shrink, may fade, but its essence will remain, woven into the fabric of the planet's endless motion. For now, it endures, a crimson eye watching over a world of storms, a reminder that even chaos can find its rhythm, and that even in destruction, there is grace. It is the heartbeat of Jupiter, and perhaps of the solar system itself. It's older than civilization, older than memory. And still, it rages. Because on Jupiter, eternity is measured not in years, but in storms. It rains diamonds here. On Jupiter, storms don't just thunder, they create worlds. Every flash, every bolt, every soundless roar in its endless night is part of a cosmic machine that transforms simple molecules into things we can barely imagine. The lightning on Jupiter is unlike anything we know. It's not just brighter, it's not just stronger, it's otherworldly. Each flash can span hundreds of kilometers, illuminating clouds that stretch for thousands. A single strike can unleash energy thousands of times greater than the biggest lightning bolt on Earth, enough to power an entire city if it didn't vaporize it first. These aren't storms in the way we understand them. They are planetary-scale furnaces forging new matter in the darkness. Deep within Jupiter's vast atmosphere, where the pressure crushes and the heat sears, something extraordinary happens. Carbon atoms, freed by the energy of lightning, begin to fall, drifting downward, deeper and deeper into the dense layers below. As they descend, they're squeezed tighter by pressure, billions of pascals, more than any mountain or ocean could bear. At first, they form soot, then graphite, and then diamonds. Tiny crystals of carbon rain through the sky, glittering in the blackness like falling stars, only to melt again as they plunge into the inferno below. For a few fleeting moments, Jupiter's storms create rivers of diamonds, born in lightning, doomed to melt before they ever reach the core. It is a storm that makes gems and swallows them whole, but the diamond rain is only part of the story. Because Jupiter's atmosphere doesn't follow our rules. Where water and ammonia mix, deep below the visible clouds, a different kind of storm brews. Scientists call them mushball storms, a bizarre alien weather system unlike anything on Earth. Here, water vapor and ammonia gas collide in freezing layers, sticking together into slushy, half-liquid hailstones, mushballs of ice and ammonia. They grow larger and heavier as they fall, carrying water and ammonia deeper into the planet. When they finally melt, they release their cargo far below, fueling convection currents that rise back up, feeding the thunderclouds above. It's a self-sustaining cycle, a storm that fuels its own existence, a storm that eats itself to stay alive. These mushball storms are the hidden engines of Jupiter's atmosphere. They explain why ammonia appears to vanish from the upper clouds and why lightning flashes in places scientists once thought impossible. Because on Jupiter, lightning doesn't just strike the sky, it strikes the deep. When NASA's Juno spacecraft arrived at Jupiter in 2016, it carried instruments capable of seeing through the clouds, not in visible light, but in infrared. What it found was mesmerizing. Flickers of light shining through the planet's thick upper layers, like sparks beneath an ocean. Each flash was a clue, a sign that lightning was erupting far deeper than any earthly storm could ever reach. On Earth, lightning forms when water and ice collide in storm clouds, building up electrical charges. But on Jupiter, the storms are too vast, too cold, and too alien for that simple model to hold. Here, lightning forms 50 kilometers deeper, where temperatures and pressures twist physics into new shapes. The result is a phenomenon so powerful it makes the entire atmosphere glow. From space, Juno sees the flashes as ghostly blue and white glimmers, brief, silent pulses against a backdrop of eternal shadow. They are storms that never sleep, a heartbeat of electricity within a planet of clouds. But what fuels such power? How can storms this massive, this violent, sustain themselves for centuries? The answer lies in Jupiter's secret, the endless heat rising from below. Unlike Earth, where sunlight drives the weather, Jupiter's storms are powered from within. Its core radiates nearly twice as much energy as it receives from the sun. That hidden heat pushes upward, creating convection currents that churn the entire atmosphere. As the gases rise, cool, and fall again, they form the towering thunderheads that generate lightning of unimaginable strength. This is why Jupiter's storms never end. The planet itself is their engine. The deeper you go, the stronger the heat. The stronger the heat, the greater the storms. It's a feedback loop that has lasted billions of years, and it raises a terrifying question. How deep does it go? Scientists don't know. Even Juno, with all its precision, can only peer so far. What lies beneath those flashing clouds, in the world of metallic hydrogen and superheated gas, remains a mystery. There are hints. Gravitational readings suggest vast upwellings of material, currents that rise and fall like tides beneath the visible atmosphere. Some storms might reach hundreds of kilometers deep, their roots tapping into layers where hydrogen begins to behave like liquid metal, where electricity and motion fuse into something new. Down there, lightning may not be a flash. It may be a constant glow, an endless shimmer inside Jupiter's hidden depths. If that's true, then what we see, those momentary blinks of light, are just the surface echoes of a deeper, continuous energy storm raging in silence below. It's like staring at the ocean and seeing only ripples, unaware of the currents that rage beneath. And yet, through that violence, there's a strange beauty. Every flash, every pulse, every diamond born and lost in the storm is part of a greater balance, a cycle that has endured since the birth of the solar system. Jupiter's storms recycle matter, redistribute heat, and shape the planet's atmosphere in ways that still defy explanation. To us, they are chaos. To Jupiter, they are order. Each bolt of lightning is a reminder that the planet is alive, not in the way Earth is alive, but in a way only a gas giant can be. Its storms are its heartbeat, its lightning, its pulse, and somewhere beneath those clouds, deeper than our instruments can see, deeper than our understanding can reach, that pulse continues to thunder. A sea of diamonds falling through invisible storms, a world where light is born from darkness, a planet that never stops creating. It rains diamonds here, and every storm that forges them is a reminder that Jupiter is not just a planet of gas, it is a planet of power. Power that glows, power that transforms, power that never ends. And as we stare into its clouds from across the void, watching those silent flashes light up the night, one question still haunts us. If this is what happens above, what waits below? At a certain depth, gas becomes metal. It sounds impossible. How can something invisible, weightless, intangible, something we breathe, transform into a substance that could forge worlds? But on Jupiter, the impossible is routine. Here, beneath clouds that stretch for tens of thousands of kilometers, the laws of matter itself begin to bend. This is the journey into Jupiter's heart, a descent into pressure so immense, temperature so extreme, that hydrogen, the simplest of all elements, changes its nature completely. What begins as air becomes metal. Imagine falling through those clouds, first through the high ammonia storms, then through the water vapor layers, deeper into the thunder and lightning. As you fall, the atmosphere thickens around you. The air ceases to feel like air. It grows heavy, hot, viscous, a fluid denser than any ocean. The pressure rises past 1,000,000 times that of Earth's atmosphere, and still you fall. The temperature climbs past 20,000 degrees Celsius, hotter than the surface of the sun, and still, there is no surface, no end, no ground to land on. Then, somewhere in the darkness, hydrogen, the lightest element in the universe, begins to surrender. The crushing weight of Jupiter's mass forces its atoms closer than they were ever meant to be. Electrons break free from their nuclei, and suddenly, the gas that once floated through the stars becomes something new. A liquid metal that flows like mercury and conducts electricity like copper. It glows faintly, not with fire, but with energy, a deep internal light, the silent radiance of compression. This is metallic hydrogen, perhaps the rarest material in the universe, a state of matter that cannot exist on Earth except in fleeting laboratory experiments. Here, it forms oceans that could drown worlds. Jupiter's interior is filled with it, vast seas of liquid metals swirling beneath its clouds, thousands of kilometers deep. It's not a planet of gas, it's a planet of storms and metal. This metallic hydrogen is the key to Jupiter's greatest power, its magnetic field. As those metallic layers churn and rotate, they generate electrical currents on a planetary scale. These currents spiral outward, forming a magnetic field so immense it dwarfs anything else in the solar system. It stretches millions of kilometers into space, a magnetic leviathan that could encompass the sun itself if visible. The field traps charged particles, whips them into radiation belts, and bathes the planet in invisible fire. Any spacecraft that ventures too close risks being fried, its electronics shattered by Jupiter's unseen wrath. Earth's magnetic field protects us from the solar wind. Jupiter's magnetic field dominates it. It's more than a shield, it's an empire. A vast, invisible kingdom of charged particles sculpted by a metallic heart that never stops moving. And like everything on Jupiter, it moves fast. The planet rotates once every 10 hours, faster than any other planet in the solar system. That furious spin twists and drives the metallic hydrogen within, amplifying its currents, intensifying its field. The result is a magnetic engine of unimaginable strength, one that fuels Jupiter's glowing auroras, powers its radiation belts, and shapes the very space around it. The storms on the surface may be violent, but the storms inside are greater still. Scientists once imagined Jupiter as a simple world, gas above, a solid core below, but the truth is stranger. Beneath the metallic layers, there might not be a core in the traditional sense at all. Instead, there could be a fuzzy core, a vast region where rock, ice, and metal blend with hydrogen in a turbulent mix. Juno's gravity measurements hint that this core is not a hard surface, but a swirling soup, dissolving into the layers above it. It's as if Jupiter's heart has no boundary, only density. This revelation changes everything, because it means Jupiter doesn't have a heart that beats. It has a heart that pulses, shifting, breathing, alive in its own strange rhythm. The planet is not static. It is fluid to its very center. Every storm, every current, every deep wind above echoes through that metallic sea below. The atmosphere and the core are not separate. They are one. So, what lies at the very center, if there is one at all? We don't know. Maybe a dense core of rock and metal compressed to the size of Earth, maybe just more fluid, more motion, more energy. But whatever lies there, it has been unchanged for billions of years, since the solar system was young. When Jupiter formed, it was this core, this gravity well, that pulled in the gas around it, shaping the architecture of the entire solar system. It dictated where the other planets formed, what materials they gathered, even whether Earth could exist. In a way, everything we are, every atom, every breath, every life, traces back to the metallic heart of Jupiter. That heart has never cooled. It still radiates heat, still drives the storms, still stirs the winds that have raged for eternity. The same heat that once forged the solar system now fuels the lightning and chaos above. A storm that began in the beginning and never ended. It's easy to think of Jupiter as empty, a world of gas and clouds, shapeless and void. But deep down, it is far from empty. It is dense beyond imagining. It is heavy with pressure, alive with electricity, glowing with the heat of creation itself. Every layer below those clouds is another act of transformation, gas to liquid, liquid to metal, energy to motion. Jupiter is not a place where things exist, it's a place where things become. At a certain depth, gas becomes metal, and that metal becomes motion, and that motion becomes magnetism, and that magnetism becomes the unseen force that binds the outer solar system together. It is the engine beneath the storms, the fire beneath the clouds. It is the metallic heart of the King of Worlds, beating in silence, hidden in darkness, shaping everything above it. And as Juno flies closer, tracing its gravity and field, we are beginning to realize something profound. Jupiter is not just a planet. It is a living machine, a storm turned inside out, powered by a heart that may not even be solid, a heart that pulses. And every pulse sends ripples through the void, through its moons, through the solar wind, through the empty dark of space. The heart of Jupiter beats not with blood, but with pressure and fire. And in that pulse, the universe remembers its own beginning. If you stood near Jupiter, your atoms would scream. The airless space around you would seethe with invisible fire. Electrons, ions, and protons racing at near-light speed would tear through everything they touched: metal, circuits, flesh, bone. In Jupiter's domain, radiation is not a background whisper. It's a roar. Here, the planet's invisible power becomes visible, a force so immense it shapes space itself. This is the magnetic Leviathan, Jupiter's magnetic field, the largest and most fearsome in the solar system. It is not a gentle shield like Earth's. It is a monster, vast, asymmetric, and alive. The field begins deep within Jupiter's metallic heart, where liquid hydrogen flows like molten silver, conducting electricity as it churns and rotates. That endless motion creates a dynamo, a planetary generator so strong that it sends invisible lines of magnetic force sweeping outward across millions of kilometers. To scale it is to confront immensity. Jupiter's magnetic field is 20,000 times stronger than Earth's, and its reach is colossal, stretching out beyond the orbit of Saturn's moon Titan. If it were visible, it would appear larger than the Sun itself. Within that field lies a storm of radiation, a deadly halo of charged particles trapped by magnetic lines, spiraling and colliding at unimaginable speeds. These are Jupiter's radiation belts, and they are lethal. Any human spacecraft passing through would be fried in minutes. Even the robotic emissaries we've sent, hardened machines wrapped in layers of shielding, can only endure brief encounters. When NASA's Juno spacecraft arrived in 2016, it entered Jupiter's realm knowing that its days were numbered. Every orbit would slowly cook its electronics, every pass another brush with the unseen fire. But Juno wasn't built to die, it was built to dance. Its trajectory is a masterpiece of engineering, a long, looping path that dives close to the poles, then swings far out again, avoiding the most dangerous regions like a matador dodging a charging bull. Each orbit lasts 53 days, a careful waltz between data and destruction. Juno's sensors can see the magnetic field, not as light, but as distortion, as invisible geometry. And what it has revealed has stunned scientists. Jupiter's field is not symmetrical, not tidy, not aligned like Earth's north and south poles. It's twisted, warped, alive. The magnetic North Pole is nowhere near where models predicted. The southern field looks completely different, jagged, patchy, chaotic. It's as if the entire field were in motion, shifting and evolving like a living creature. Scientists call this strange shape the Great Blue Spot, a region of intense magnetic flux buried deep within the planet, shifting and pulsing over time. It's not a storm in the clouds, but a storm in the magnetic field itself, a storm of electricity. For the first time, we're beginning to see that Jupiter's magnetism isn't static. It's dynamic. It breathes. It changes. Like the atmosphere above, it has weather, invisible weather, shaped by forces far beyond our comprehension. It's almost as if Jupiter itself were aware of its own magnetism, sculpting, shifting, maintaining balance between chaos and order. At the edges of that field, where Jupiter's invisible grip meets the solar wind, something extraordinary happens. The charged particles funneled by magnetic lines crash into Jupiter's upper atmosphere, igniting with violent energy. The result is the most powerful aurora in the solar system, a light show so intense it can be seen across the spectrum, from ultraviolet to X-rays. From space, the poles of Jupiter glow with swirling ovals of light, brighter, larger, and more dynamic than any aurora on Earth. They pulse and shimmer in rhythmic bursts, their shapes twisting in response to the solar wind, to the movement of Jupiter's moons, and even to the planet's own rotation. Juno's cameras have captured them, vast curtains of light encircling the poles, flickering with every breath of cosmic radiation. And buried within those auroras is something even stranger: lightning. Bolts of electricity that flash upward instead of downward. Sprites and elves dancing above the clouds, powered by the magnetic fury below. It's a world where energy flows both ways, from deep inside to far above, from gravity to light. Jupiter's storms reach the sky, its magnetism reaches the stars. Everywhere Juno looks, it finds the field reaching farther than models can explain, curling, flexing, bending across space. It tugs at moons millions of kilometers away, drawing plasma from Io's volcanic eruptions and weaving it into luminous rings that spin around the planet. That ring of charged particles glows faintly, like a crown of invisible fire. Io, Europa, Ganymede, each moon dances inside the field's grasp. Io's volcanic gases feed the radiation belts. Europa's icy crust sparks electric currents that race along magnetic lines. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, has a magnetic field of its own, the only moon that does, and it locks with Jupiter's in a magnetic embrace, two fields interlacing like celestial gears. Every interaction sends ripples through space, ripples Juno can feel, ripples Earth can detect. In that way, Jupiter doesn't just hold its moons, it plays them. Each one sings a magnetic note in the symphony of the Leviathan. But even now, we don't fully understand how it all works. Why is Jupiter's field so asymmetric? Why does it pulse like a heartbeat? What drives the hidden magnetic storms deep within its metallic core? Every answer Juno finds only leads to more questions. Perhaps Jupiter's magnetic field isn't just a byproduct of its rotation. Perhaps it's something more, a manifestation of the planet's living dynamics, an echo of the energy that formed it. Maybe the magnetic field is Jupiter's soul, vast, invisible, and eternal. Because when you look at Jupiter's auroras, blazing in the polar night like burning halos, you realize this is not chaos. This is artistry, a cosmic performance written in light and magnetism. It's as though the universe built a planet just to show what electricity and gravity could create together. A world that turns invisible forces into spectacle. Jupiter's storms may rage in the clouds, but its true fury is silent, unseen, and everywhere. If you stood near it, your atoms would scream. If you could survive, you'd see light without source, fire without heat, energy without mercy. And yet, it would be beautiful. Because within that destruction lies creation, the dance of fields and particles that keeps the solar system in harmony. Jupiter doesn't just orbit the sun, it bends the sun's field around it. It doesn't just have magnetism. It is magnetism, a magnetic leviathan, a living storm of metal and light, a reminder that the universe's most violent forces can also be its most beautiful. We thought we knew Jupiter. We've barely scratched the clouds. For centuries we looked up and saw only beauty, a striped, swirling giant, majestic and eternal. We imagined that beneath those clouds lay certainty, layers neatly stacked, a solid core, and predictable physics. But the truth, revealed piece by piece by the Juno spacecraft, has been far stranger and far more alive. Jupiter is not finished. It's still becoming. Juno's instruments, orbiting close and low, have peeled back the outer layers of mystery. They've measured gravity, mapped the flow of winds, and listened to the planet's deep, rumbling heart. What they found defies every old model. The Great Red Spot, once thought to be a shallow storm, plunges hundreds of kilometers below the clouds. The winds that paint Jupiter's bands stretch downward into the metallic interior. And at the planet's center, where scientists once expected a dense, solid core, they found something blurred. Not rock, not metal, but something in between. A fuzzy core, part solid, part fluid, dissolving into the metallic hydrogen above it, like ink bleeding into water. It's not a heart of stone, but a living turbulence, a place where creation is still unfolding. Jupiter's very shape changes under its own storms. Its gravity field shifts with its motion. Its rotation speeds alter slightly, as if the planet itself is breathing. It isn't stable or settled. It's in motion, a world still sculpting itself after 4.5 billion years. The deeper Juno looked, the more it realized. Jupiter isn't a finished planet. It's a process. Its atmosphere churns with waves, not just the ones that ripple across clouds, but gravity waves, titanic oscillations that move through the entire planet like sound through an ocean. They rise and fall, carrying energy from deep within to the outer skies. Even its magnetic field, once thought stable, shifts and warps with time. The Great Blue Spot, a region of intense magnetism near the equator, appears to be moving. Jupiter's magnetic poles. Wonder its field is changing shape. It's as though the planet's very identity, its structure, its magnetism, its storms, is still being rewritten. Jupiter isn't a fossil of creation, it's the act of creation still happening. And yet, amid all that chaos, Jupiter performs a role of profound stability. It is the guardian of the solar system, the cosmic shield that makes life on Earth possible. Its gravity dominates the outer system, controlling the paths of comets, asteroids, and rogue debris. Every year, Jupiter deflects or captures countless incoming objects, protecting the fragile inner worlds from devastation. When comets plunge toward the Sun, many never make it past Jupiter's grasp. They are pulled in, shattered, or flung harmlessly away into the outer dark. In 1994, the world watched as comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 slammed into Jupiter, breaking apart into a chain of fiery impacts that left scars the size of Earth. Each explosion released more energy than the entire world's nuclear arsenal combined, and Jupiter absorbed it all. Had that comet been heading for us, life on Earth might not exist today. Jupiter's gravity doesn't just shape orbits, it saves worlds. It has been doing so for billions of years. Long before the first living cell, Jupiter was out there, sweeping clean the cosmic battlefield so that life could take hold on a small blue dot closer to the Sun. And it still does. It is our silent protector, our cosmic bodyguard, and sometimes our destroyer. The same gravity that shields us can also hurl objects inward. Jupiter's influence sends comets and asteroids into unpredictable paths, some toward safety, some toward danger. It's a reminder that creation and destruction are never separate. They are two halves of the same cosmic rhythm, the same rhythm that beats inside Jupiter's storms. When we look at Jupiter now, we don't see a static world. We see a living system, a world of storms, of metal, of energy and change. Its clouds are not decorations, they are processes, rivers of motion tracing the invisible currents of a planet that never rests. Its lightning is not chaos, it is expression, the visible pulse of its internal power. Its magnetic field is not a cage, it's an aura, the breath of a world that commands the space around it. Juno's data paints a portrait not of a planet, but of a living sculpture, carved by gravity, shaped by motion, glowing from within. A planet that is both ancient and newborn at once, the king of worlds, still wearing the crown of storms. And yet, for all we've learned, Jupiter remains half hidden, half known, a mirror of the universe itself. Its clouds conceal more than they reveal. Its heart refuses to be measured. Its storms rise and fade like thoughts in a mind too vast to comprehend. Juno has flown within 5,000 kilometers of its clouds, closer than any craft before. And still, the questions multiply. What lies deeper than metallic hydrogen? How did Jupiter's fuzzy core form? Why do its storms endure for centuries? Why does it radiate so much heat, as if still burning from the inside? We don't know. And perhaps that's the point. Because Jupiter isn't finished. And maybe it never will be. When we look up at it from Earth, that bright, wandering star in our night sky, we're not seeing a relic of the past. We're seeing the living heart of the solar system, still pulsing, still growing, still shaping everything around it. It was here before us. It will remain long after us. Every comet that burns, every asteroid that falls, every world that survives owes its existence to Jupiter's gravity, to the silent balance it keeps. Jupiter is the architect and the executioner, the savior and the storm. It is the beginning written in motion. Its clouds are alive with memory. Its lightning is a reminder of power. Its heart, metallic, molten, eternal, beats in rhythm with the birth of the stars. We thought we knew Jupiter. We were wrong. We've barely scratched the clouds, because its storms may never end. And maybe neither will its story.